A Night in the Dreamscapes by Krisamity. Chapter 1. Coming Home. Splitters splatter. Raindrops fall from the clouds from above and hits the window that I was looking out of. I sigh as my headphones play the music to me, and my longest layered black hair keeps falling from my eyes. I brush it away and let my green eyes wander out of the window until my eyes land on an old sign that says, "Welcome to Misty Hill, founded in 1820. You're not lost, you're here." I smiled at that old sign that has been there for as long as I could remember. "You're not lost, you're here" is a very interesting choice of words, because unless you live here or have family member who lives here, but you accidentally come across Mr. Hill, that would mean you are lost. Old Misty Hills, one of the first towns to be established during the Oregon Trail, but long forgotten. Now the population was to maybe a half or 1,000 of people, excluding those who got away from this town, mostly kids who worked their asses off in shitty jobs that they have here for non-minimal wages and unfair hours. Misty Hills, that if you drove past the town, you would have thought it was an old ghost town, until you saw people walking about. I smile at my old found memories of my old hometown as we came closer and closer to my stop. The bus driver pulled up to the bus station and turned to me and gives me a low grunt, almost as if he was giving most of his effort to look at me. "Okay, little miss, here's your stop," he says, pulling out a cigarette and lighter. He places the death stick between his lips and lights it and takes a puff. I made a disgusted look and looked away. I grabbed my bag, which is originally my school bag, back from college. The rest of it should be coming in the next days or so. I climbed down and almost having to jump down at the last step as I cursed my shortness. I walked inside where it was warm and dry. I noticed that I wasn't expecting a big crowd to come and greet me as I came home, but what I saw was a bunch of nothing. No one was here to greet me or anything. I know for a fact that I called my parents' house phone saying that I was coming home tonight and what time to pick me up, but absolutely no one came. I sigh as I walk over to the doors getting ready to leave, but to be stopped by a man who had some old look to him. He was fiddling with the doors. He looks over at me, and I saw his older complexion about him. He was an older man with gray-peppered hair and beard. He wore just a normal daily clothes, who wear warm enough to keep the chill from outside out, or to keep him warm. He had a hat on with his hair neatly shoved inside. "Excuse me," I said, getting his attention. "Why isn't one here?" I asked him. At first he stayed silent, and I thought he wouldn't answer. "This place is closed," he says of a matter-of-fact tone. I look around and saw the sign that read 24 hours, all days and every day. "But you're open all the time," I said, and he didn't even seem to care about my discovery. "I work here every night after everyone is long gone, and when I am the last one out of that door, that means this place is closed," he says. So then, when will that happen? I asked. As soon as I finish fixing the door. And how long will that take? Well, it depends on how long you can give me a Coke. I stood there glaring at the man. So you mean I have to buy you one? No, it's free. As in, free? As I rigged the vendor at this hour free, he says. I shrugged my shoulders and went over to the vendor, grabbing 2 drinks. I gave one to him. Here's your free-ass Coke, I said. He takes it and looks up at me, but turns back to the door. He pushed the button on the door and the door opens. He walks out on the cold night, leaving me alone to ponder over his weirdness. I sigh and look out of the cold darkness with the rain still falling rather pretty hard still outside. That makes me shudder in the thought of me having to walk out there to get home. I got into my bag and pulled out a thick leather jacket that I kept with me always. The memory how I became to own this jacket crept into my mind, making me smile. I wish I could see him again. I want to hear his laughter again, but knowing I can't made the smile fall from my lips. I put on the jacket and walked into the night. Right away my hair was getting soaked, but I don't care as much. To be rather honest, rain is my favorite. Being able to walk out into it and feel as if the world was washing the pain from you made me feel at peace. I walk along the road, passing the small town that I remembered from all those years back. It's been, 4 years since the last time I was here? And yet nothing seems out of place. Sure, new stores, and some stores from back then were closed. But what more could I do about it? This is still Misty Hills. It's still my home, even though one eventful day caused me to strain and think of this place as my nightmares. I passed the gas station that it looks to be new. I walk inside and went to grab myself a cup of hot chocolate. I know since I'm in my 20s that I should be am expecting to prefer coffee. But let me tell you, if that poison passed through my lips, I will be out all night in a caffeine sleepwalk, like coma, digging holes in the backyard, and more likely waking up in one as my grave. It's not a good idea. I took my cup to the front counter, getting ready to pay, but to be surprised to see a familiar red-headed with dorky glasses sitting behind the counter. Raymond Rabowski, or what we like to call him in school, Ray. He looks up from his newspaper, and his blue eyes meeting my green ones, and we stared at each other in shock. Then a large smile spreads across his lips as he almost jumps out of behind the counter. And right away I saw a hyper-outgoing, my partner in crime and best friend again. Val! He screams and jumps over and tackles me to the ground in a hug. Hey, dork! I yelled back, happy to see him again. Aw, man, you're still alive. I fake pouted. Too bad. Well, too bad you didn't die in the fire that your dorm roommate set to your room, he yells. Well, too bad you didn't die by someone blowing up a gas pump and left you to burn. Well, too bad you didn't die by your bus crashing and landing in the river. Well, too bad you didn't die by your boyfriend setting fire to the kitchen and leaving you tied up in the apartment. We were glaring at each other for a moment until we both fell over laughing, hugging each other. I miss this, joking around with our sick, dark sense of humor that could get us both locked up in a padded room. No one understands why we do this, or why we find it so funny that we always we can name off all the most horrific ways that we could see each other and die, but then laugh about it in the end. To be honest, neither did I, and I can guarantee that neither did Ray. "What are you doing here, Duder?" he asked, sitting on the counter looking over at me. "Still short as ever, I see," he teases. "F off, will ya?" I yelled at him, still laughing. "No, but seriously, I thought you still had 2 more years left in college," he said. "Nah, bruh. The set of the college life wasn't all for Val here," I said in a large grin, pointing to myself. He laughed, throwing his head back. "So in other words, your college couldn't take legendary Valentine Swine here and kicked you out," he asked. I shrunk away, and my ego pretty much flared away like a balloon. "Yeah, pretty much." He laughed some more before looking at the clock to see that it was almost 9. "Well, I'm almost off of work here soon," he says. "Jack is going to pick me up soon, and we're going to be heading home. Do you need a ride? Your parents' house is like a block away from where we live." "Ah, old Johnson Bilgum, or Jack, that we preferred over since we were young. Ray's first love. They've been together ever since middle school, and to be honest, they were the only gay couple here, which makes them much more cooler than most people in this dumbass town. It's awesome that they were still together after all this time. They're the ones I am rooting for to be the ones to escape this crappy town and to make something of themselves." "Yeah, that would be awesome before I get sick," I said. "You know me, the one who gets so sick that I'll end up being in bed for days on end. Which is odd since you have a pretty small body. You should be able to produce enough heat for yourself," he teases. I dare you to make another comment about my height. I glare at him, making him shut up. Not long after, Jack came rolling in his old beat-up pickup truck. Both Ray and I climbed in, and Jack, in the least, was surprised to see me. "Val, hey, what are you doing here?" he asked. "Decided to come home," I said simply. "She got kicked out of college," Ray jokes. "You wish," I yelled at him, making Jack laugh. "We're are just going to drop her off at her parents' house," Ray says to him. "Figure as much, hun." He smiles at Ray, who blushes. Once again, I let my eyes wander to the outside world. The town was quiet, and the rain was still falling, making everything seem so at peace. With the forest in the background, just brought it all together again. I feel safe. I feel at home. I look back at the front seat to see Jack and Ray talking quietly to themselves, which made me smile. They pulled off to my street, and I waved them goodbye. And as they drove away, I smiled and turned to look at my old home that I grew up with. It still looks like the same still. I was happy to see it again. I walk inside, using my old key to let myself in, but to find the house quiet. They must have went to bed. I walk up the stairs past their bedroom and saw all the lights were out up here too. I walk up to my room and saw it just the way I left it. All the posters are still up, like colorful Christmas lights everywhere, and pictures of me and my friends on every wall. I sat on my bed, making a squeak from not being used over my absence. I ran my hand along over some of my things to find that have collected some things. I take off my shoes and put my jacket by my bedside and curled up under my covers, letting the world around me drift into slumber. End of chapter 1. If you want to find this book, please go to Wattpad.com and under Krisamity, you'll be able to find the real full story. Thank you very much for listening, and see you in the next video. Bye!